All right, we have reached a very big milestone. Let's take a look. But the biggest problem is that this reclaimed lumber has this yellow tint that bled through in the finish when I was painting. I can't leave it. What's happening, everyone? We are back at work on the last of our cabinets here for the master closet. And originally I was going to line up all these drawer edges by somehow getting my track saw and lining this up and just cutting one slice all the way down to make them flush with this edge. And I've been messing around with it, and I think the reality is that's not a good idea. And I just have to take every drawer off, kind of measure out how much needs to come off, and just cut them on the table saw. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna make all the cuts for the drawers, gonna try and line everything up as best I can, and then I have to remove all the drawers, remove all the hardware, and prep this one for paint, which is something I didn't want to have to do, but I guess the reality is there's a lot of putting together and taking apart of drawers in a drawer making process. I'm new to it, so was trying to avoid it as best I can, but I think I have to. So anyway, let's cut the drawer heads, or the drawer faces. We'll put some putty on some of these areas to kind of, deal with this issue. Maybe I have to remake this one, because that's a pretty bad hole. I wonder if this would have been a better piece. Yeah. We'll probably replace this one with this one, since this has less damage to it. Anyway, let's get to work. Time for a little update. We are pretty much done painting all of our cabinets, and I've moved on to painting the drawers, at least just the drawer faces, but I ran out of paint. So we're gonna pause on that action till tomorrow, and I'm gonna get started on measuring and cutting all of the aluminum channel that goes into our cabinets. So all these channels here, I have to measure out and make every cut, and I'm going to set them with an epoxy glue. The channel is about a ½ inch deep. This is 3/4 plywood. That means I only have a 1/4 inch left of wood. So if I tried to drill into it, I probably would poke out the other side, which is what I don't want to happen. So I am going to measure everything, cut it, mix up some epoxy, set everything in place, get it taped up, and then let it dry overnight. And by that time, I should have some new paint to continue working. So let's go. So we are back. It is a new day, and obviously what's happened here is the paint seems to have caused the grooves that I routed out to get a little bit bigger. That could be a little bit from the wetness of the paint, but also just build up on the corners. So I tried to chisel out a little bit. That wasn't working that well, so I'm ending up rerouting everything just a little bit, kind of like a 1/16 of an inch off the back edge here to get these to seat properly. So this one, I just ran the router and got it to seat properly. Essentially, no one's really going to see some of these imperfections. I am going to fill them in with a little bit of white caulking, along with like areas like that you see. So that should clean up pretty nicely. But that just means I got to go around to every single recessed area, reroute, sand, chisel my way to make sure that these fit again, and then epoxy them in place. Before, I was epoxying in one big batch, and I was going to do everything all at the same time. Well, that didn't work out so well, so I'm going to actually do the epoxy in place in each recessed hole as soon as I have confirmation that the channel is going to fit in. So let's go ahead and do that. right, we have reached a very big milestone. All of our LED channels have finally been recessed and installed into all of our cabinets. They're painted, and I have them all back into the orientation that they are going to sit in this master closet. So let's take a look. We've got all white. I do have some scuff marks now that I'll have to touch up later, but got the LED channels in here. Some of these little divots right here, we'll use some painter's caulk essentially to cover up. But we have our big channel here for our shoe cabinet, our long storage. Man, that looks pretty good. Now, what happens next? Well, now, besides me finding some time to spray paint the fronts of all these drawers and then reinstalling all my drawer slides, I'm going to get to installing all of the curtain hangers. And the curtain hangers, maybe I can show you right now, are in these boxes. And these are really nice, high quality chrome, rectangle, rounded shaped ones. Let's see if I can show you one of them. They do have to be custom cut. These are really good looking. If I can show you the end of one here. I mean, look at that. So this kind of tops off that high-end look. Oh my God, look at that gloss. Let's kind of bring that over to you just to see what it might look like. So just imagine something like that. It's gonna look incredible. So we're gonna go about 12 inches from the back, find our midpoint. I think it's gonna be dropped down either an inch or an inch and a half from the top. And then we'll get the hangers, or I guess the holders, screwed in, and these things custom cut. So let's go ahead and do that. Pretty exciting moment. This is the first live look at my first bay of recessed LED lights turning on. And I've selected a 3000 Kelvin color temperature that's kind of like a yellowish, a slightly yellow whitish hue. So let's take a look. Get this out the way. What do you think? Close in here. I'm pretty excited. Just imagine every single one of these bays lit up with this nice accent glow. Pretty excited. Now I just gotta install and buy more of these LED strips, get them installed everywhere, wire them all together with quick disconnects. There's still a decent amount of work left to do, but at least you get kind of a glimmer of what it looks like. I'm gonna take a picture. This is awesome. Let's take a look at what our cabinet faces look like. This is the plywood top, and these are pretty good. And they're pretty much just about like a factory finish. This one, there's a little bit of trash that is gonna have to be lightly sanded off, but between the natural wood or the reclaimed lumber from the home and the plywood, you can see there's a slight variation in color. This wood, I feel like the paint and the moisture kind of wicked up some, I don't know, something from inside the wood. And I don't want to say it because I don't want to have to do the work, but we'll put these drawers in, but it almost looked like these are going to have to be repainted, or at least redone with plywood, edge banded, and then repainted. And I really don't want to do that because it takes so much time to do that entire process. It's already been a couple days taking to make these drawer fronts. So let's first get it up on the drawers and the slides, get everything pressed in, and then we'll see how big of an issue the fronts really are. All right. Okay, well, I mean, the fitment is really good. The tight tolerance that I gave for these drawers is pretty spot on. I mean, if you look at the surface, you got like a 1/16 of an inch little drop that's uniform across the top. The middle comes down pretty accurately. The sides line up pretty well for custom-made drawers. But the biggest problem is that this reclaimed lumber has this yellow tint that bled through in the finish when I was painting. That, and it pulled out the wood grain even though I planed and sanded these really flat. And I think that's just what happens when you use old wood. So probably my recommendation is do not change your material type halfway through an install because you think it'll be fun to use materials from the home when you don't have enough of it to go all the way around, especially for drawer faces. Had it been anywhere else in this project, I wouldn't have to redo work, but because it is on the front and because this here, right here is the door, and you enter in, and this is the first thing that you will see. I can't leave it. And this thing is being shipped Friday night, and today is Wednesday, which means tomorrow I gotta come in. I need to take off all these drawers, cut new ones all to size, get them lined up on the drawers, and then we only ship this with the top drawers. I keep the bottom drawers and I do another paint session. And what I've learned thus far is painting takes a long time and it's kind of annoying, especially for cabinetry. Just the amount of layers you have to have with HVLP to get that smooth finish that's durable and thick. It's like 4 or 5 coats. And that just takes longer. So that is a lesson learned. I'm gonna end kind of this segment here for now. I'm going to transition over to something else I need to work on, which is getting all of my little electrical connectors kind of set up. And then I was gonna do some kind of cutting tonight too. What did I need to do? I have to start working on the floating shelves that go in the kitchen, but that's gonna be a whole nother video, so let's worry about that one later. Let's get to work on fixing these cabinets.